Hey, this is Cameron. Welcome back to the Busy Gardener channel. You buy a tree in a little pot and you plant it, and then you turn around and they turn into something like this. Pruning is so freaky for so many people, and yet it's one of the best things that you can do for your tree to increase productivity and some other things. There are 5 main things to keep in mind as you are doing your summer pruning, as well as one reason you should not summer prune your tree that I'll share at the end, so stay tuned for that. Let's get busy. So summer pruning is more of a style of pruning than it is tied to a specific date. So sometimes summer pruning is something that happens in June or July, or in this case, we're doing it in September. It has to do with the aims of summer pruning, and you're going to see some of those things develop over the course of this video in how it differs from winter pruning. So the first thing about summer pruning is you are wanting to maintain the eventual height of your tree. That is the first and number one thing. When you're using this backyard orchard culture, you're wanting to have the trees geared no higher than you can reach the fruit or the branches. You might have a different aim. You might want to get on a ladder, but for me, I'm capping my eventual height using summer pruning, and I can see where that is. So by coming through and just making these cuts, always facing the outer facing buds if I can help it, because I want the flush of growth to come out this way. And so here I'm just bringing down the overall size of the tree to my desired tree size, and this is really true on an established tree. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, we were just looking at an established tree. The second thing with summer pruning has to do with a younger tree, and that is where we're wanting to pay attention to some of the eventual structure. And so this pluary that I just added to this 2-in-1 planting is now made it a 3-in-1, this Flavor Punch pluary. And you'll notice here that we've got a branch is just going wild on this side, whereas it's not on this side. And I don't want to have a lopsided tree. And so what I'm going to do is come and make an initial pruning cut right here to bring this into balance with itself. And what I'm thinking is of the eventual scaffolding. So I don't want these long whippy limbs. I want a short, compact tree that is going to be able to bear a heavy weight of fruit without having to get too big. So as you make your way up the branch, you'll notice that there are these nodes, these little buds, usually above each leaf. And so you want to have it pruned to one that is facing out from the middle, because we don't want the branches growing into the planting, we want it growing out. And so as I look around here, I'm looking, this is pretty stout and strong. This is maybe still a little whippy. And so we're looking for balance here. And so if that means making a cut a little lower than we would otherwise want in order to keep it in balance, that's what we're going to do. Okay, let's move on to the third thing to keep in mind with summer pruning. The third thing to keep in mind with summer pruning, and I'm showing you on the smaller tree, is that when you make a summer pruning cut, immediately it's going to begin pushing out new growth. And the reason why that matters is that a lot of fruit, stone fruit, pome fruit, they fruit on wood that is last year's growth or 2 years ago's growth. So if we were, let's say, to make this cut during the winter time, any new growth would be new next year and would not fruit. But by making this cut, we have the potential of it pushing out growth that is going to fruit next year. And so that's a third thing and a real pro of doing your pruning in the summertime. Let's move on to the fourth. Okay, look at this giant nectarine. This Arctic star nectarine is so tasty, but it's also so giant. The reason we want to summer prune this is because as those branches are reaching toward the sky, they're photosynthesizing, it's pushing all of that growth upward. I don't want that growth upward, I want the growth outward, because this is where we're going to be doing our fruit. If I wait till wintertime, all of that growth up there is going to be stuff that I'm going to need to cut off. And so what I want to do is cut it off now, so that way the tree diverts its efforts into growing the remaining branches. And so summer pruning on something like this is so important. All of that unneeded canopy, we want all of that energy to be diverted out this way to where it's going to fruit. Okay, the fifth thing to keep in mind as you're doing summer pruning primarily is concerned with a multi-planting like this. I've got my Maine Royal, Royal Lee, and Royal Crimson cherries here. The Royal Crimson is a much newer planting, and I want this to be a balanced planting. And so one way that I can do that is to check the growth in these two larger cherries and do very minimal pruning, if any at all, with this Royal Crimson, and that'll allow its space to take up its space in this planting here. And so this happens best in the summer because that's going to allow this to continue its growth. It's gonna have more sunlight as we open some of this canopy up. Once again, I'm gonna make cuts in the direction that I want them to go. I wanna free up a little bit more sunlight for this cherry. And so already, those few cuts are allowing some more sunlight to come through. And so this type of summer pruning is going to allow this to continue growing this season and give it even more energy by reducing some of this overarching canopy. Okay, so I've got my lead jujube and my long jujube, two of our favorites. The long is a much newer planting. The lead is hanging over, and so I've got my trusty Corona shears. I'm going through to make the cut, but this is the time where you do not do your summer pruning because this tree still has fruit on it. This is a cut that I'm going to make eventually, but I want to wait until after I've harvested the fruit to make that cut. I mean, this jujube is loaded with ripe fruit. How would you cut all this off? Delicious. Okay, well, I've got a bunch more pruning to do here in the orchard, but if you're not yet subscribed to the Busy Gardener channel, would love for you to do it. If you're not yet a member, would you consider supporting the channel? Appreciate those of you who already have a ton of perks for members. Check out the join button, see if there's something that works for you. We've got monthly task to-do lists, so that way it keeps you on track in your garden. We've got videos that are members only. Check them out, we'd love to have you. Well, anyway, whether you got one tree to prune in your orchard or 500, until next time, stay busy.